daily trading recap for the 3rd of December, 2021. It's Friday today. Oh my goodness, it's the end of the week. Pretty slow day, and it's going to be a very short video again today. Just really one ticker that I was eyeing thus far today. Just not the most awesome basket pick of opportunity out there today. SPY another little harder red day, closer to 1% in the red. We're showing still kind of testing. A good little watch around the 450 area, key psychological level test today on the SPY itself here. It's kind of carrying the same sentiment around the other indexes as well. Q's dropping off pretty hard with pretty big volume there. Dow kind of the same thing, testing these previous support levels in the same light. So market volume on the day, just for reference. Let's see, NASDAQ. We are 2 hours, 15 minutes after the close. NASDAQ $350 billion volume. Nice C, $238 billion volume. That seems incredibly low. And OTC's $3.2 billion volume. That's kind of insane how much more it's in the NASDAQ sector than Nice C compared to how flip-flopped it was yesterday. So over leveraged is the word, not, but in Nice's compared to NASDAQ. Regardless, I kind of mentioned I was keeping my eye on the OTC boys, OWUV, and TGHI today, looking for second day play, looking for panic. Just really not that much awesome of opportunity, if any. I think Mark Kirk was trying to say there was some, or he was looking for more of that kind of that 11 a.m. dip buy potential, but just lackluster. Similar dollar volume-ish today on this one, but still less compared to yesterday, and just not enough to intrigue me or entice me enough to try and play these ones that really produce any feasible opportunity in my head. It's TGHI too. Yesterday's price action was not the most awesome or liquid, and kind of living on a prayer that we were going to see anything awesome come out of it today, like a second day continuation out of it, but just cranked out of the gate to the downside today. Just really nothing else coming of that. LGVN had a little move from after hours of yesterday, playing around in pre-market today, looking at it like a first green day type of move here, especially. Very nice after these hard consecutive red days that I initially tried to play short for a while, but got stopped out, I think, for stupidity's sake or just cutting profits too quickly there. But gosh, yeah, again, I had the screen cap on this one today and had some just, as usual, just crazy wonky rejections here, big wicky candles, just fake you in, fake you out. I thought there was going to be a bigger squeeze on it. I thought there was going to be some more play with how it's been moving for just the characteristics of how this thing likes to work. But 26 obviously was the top, and that was a very short window to try and get a short off in that time frame there. To try and play for a quick downside and move there. Just fading all the rest of the afternoon here as well. Interesting to see. So the really only stock I wanted to mention was TOMZ today, that I played paper short as well, of course, because I'm still in that paper mindset, coming off of just did the monthly recap this morning, too, off of still so inspired and invigorated like I've never been before in a long time with this trading career, by being able to do this paper side of it and just being completely 100%. I know that it's obviously not what I can keep doing forever, but I lost that for some reason when I just fell so into the lie of, these day trades, they have value, and the cash in my cash account, it has value, and I got to be putting so much more weight on the trade itself. And now that the fact that I lost money on the trade, I lost the money itself, and I lost the day trade, and I lost the ability in that cash account to trade. Now I got to wait 2 days. I got to wait 5 days for that rolling period to come through. All that chicken scratch and just baloney that I continued to feed in that just deprived me of the opportunity to learn and grow and expand my horizons, which is going to be my monthly goal continuing going forward here. So that's exactly what I was doing on this one. Normally I would not be looking for a short on this for this kind of setup where it's this multi-day holder, a little bit of lower float, 13 million floater. Looking on the daily here, we're in this still a downtrending daily, which I love to see as a short, knowing that there's some amount of bleeding long overhead that would be willing to get in at any kind of elevated price or action to say, I'm not break even, but I probably won't get better than this. It's a good time to sell. That's the mentality that I like to be coming alongside as a short, selling into. So spiking off of not any news catalyst that I see here, but just putting in a nice similar chart that we would see if there was a news catalyst on a first green day type of move there for a very decent percentage move. Pulling under VWAP and never really looking back, offering a beautiful opportunity of a VWAP rejection short which I was keeping in my head the entire time and was so prepared to slap upon. I wasn't going to double down, but I was so ready to look for that and say, even though I was kind of getting short, and good short entry here within the first minute that I was watching that level 2, hawking that time and sales to say, okay, where are we at? Where are we sitting? We're just kind of hovering within this first minute still, and ask was a little bit bigger and bid was slipping away. So I threw on the short right there just for the experimental experience of it, this learning grind to go through it. And sure enough, we dumped pretty hard right after that, which was like, oh, sweet, wow. I never would have been a part of that beforehand, or not having this paper trading opportunity. So I was seeing something correctly there. And then we start to hold a little bit. Big volume comes in on this candle. If we kind of take away the expansion of those other candles, very, very big volume candle compared to the first 2 minutes that was put in, that failed to reverse the trend, failed to kind of stop it. Obviously, this $2 psychological level was looming. We're still hovering around that. So I took this green candle as, okay, wow, it took a lot of volume. It's holding up, but it took a big amount of volume in order to do that. So I don't view this necessarily as a reversal sign or a sign of potential weakness against the trend continuing. I view it as a sign of strength to say, gosh, if it's going to reverse against me, it's going to need a heck of a lot more to push that. And so carrying that sentiment, it did find the volume to push against me to reverse it. We get this perfect push to VWAP on a declining VWAP still from pre, which I was able to be in the mind space to be clear enough and free enough to understand, okay, I'm still, it's obviously past and what my risk level would have been had I been this trade of like a high of day, where I know a lot of other guys would have been stopped out, and other guys and gals would have been stopped out had they gotten short or tried to play the same trade off of me, or if they're short from anywhere in this pre little range, if they're not playing a VWAP failure entry mark there as an entry point. But regardless, maybe getting squirrely, maybe getting squeezed here in this candle with big volume and just playing, oh shoot, okay, well, it's coming with strength, coming with big volume, just don't want to be a part of it. Whereas I'm saying, okay, VWAP projection is still in effect here, and it's above a little bit. It's not respecting it perfectly, but it doesn't ever really have to all the time. And then we get into this next minute candle here, and it's just continuing to hover, continuing to hold with big volume, and now starting to press. So I'm looking at like 219 area here, and I'm saying, okay, it's continuing past that. Gosh, I think it could just continue to squeeze for whatever reason. It's a multi-day holder. It's a Friday, lower floater, 13 million floater. Not a lot else that would attract the other retail traders, the monkeys, the apes, to try and play for other plays on the day. So anything green may start to attract in some more guests on this one to start picking up the speed on the bid there. So just cut losses as they're there. Respect the price. That's the greatest lesson that I've learned, especially with shorting, in the same light too. But here I am again, coming off of yesterday, which was almost the exact same thing, that pretty much top ticking a cover on these ones before the minute candle, the 2 minutes before, it just tumbles off to a beautiful abyss of exactly the type of chart bleeding, downtrending death that I was looking to play for. I just have to laugh through it. It's a learning experience in itself, always with these ones. And I'm very glad to say that, or I'm very glad to see, as I'm reflecting and viewing upon these, that at least now I'm in the right area, or I've got the correct idea to go along with the overall trend for the day. That's where I want to be directing myself, and not just fighting against the chop, not being this crazy scalper mover, because there's just so many advantages that I don't have in that arena, so much more practice that it's going to take in order for me to get that, which I still plan to do and want to acquire more of that skill. But for where I'm at right now, these are the types of charts that I definitely want to play. Is the trend is your friend and be a part of it. And but that's the market. Is just by literal sense, I was stopped out of before this thing reversed of getting right around this high 219, 220. It goes up 2 more cents and then comes back down. That's what gets me out before it. It's beautiful, like a 10% drop here within 2 minutes, man. Pretty insane. But yeah, like I mentioned, I can take away from this chart to say, okay, I'm seeing correctly. I'm understanding, or I'm picking first off correctly, which was a big part of the battle for me. And which stocks do I really want to be a part of? Which stocks are producing the types of charts that fit my type of personality, the ones that I want to trade the best? Picking this one today kind of out of the crop of really not a lot else moving was a little victory in itself too. And the fact that this is still paper, this is still learning, and everything's growing, filling that knowledge bank up a heck of a lot more is always going to be a win in my book too. So yeah, that is really all that I had. Not a lot coming for me on the watches, especially as of now. Really nothing's hot or tickling my fancies as of right now. We may do a few more scans over the weekend here, but golly, it is certainly a grind, and I'm loving every single day for it. I sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will go ahead and catch you guys on the next one.